Welcome back to the channel. We hope you're safe and well. We have finally got ourselves in a position where we can film this next section. The weather's on our side and we're looking forward to going from Luton to Harpenden. And as usual, I have the man himself with me and he's really excited about telling you about this next walk.
Because this walk here I've done so many times in the past, being born in Harpenden, living just around the corner here in Keaton Road. Even before the path was built, I used to walk along here as a teenager and early in my 20s and 30s. Now they built a cycle route here. It's a lovely path and I hope you enjoy the show. Sorry for the delay. Gav and I was talking on the way down. We reckon it's about our 4th attempt to try and do this. Weather allowing, 2024 has been a very wet year, but we're here now, so please enjoy. Brilliant.
So, hope you enjoy it. This brings us back to 3 years ago when I started this walk with Callum. Callum's not with us today on this journey, but thank you, Callum, for encouraging us to do these walks. And we really appreciate it. And perhaps we'll get you on another one sooner or later.
We start as we left off on the last video at a place called Park Corner. This is where the lower Luton Road traditionally met Park Street, so we are now at the very southern tip of Luton. As you can see, this is the same picture we used last time. It's an N7 propelling a passenger train past what was the old Vauxhall Works. Of course, this part of town has changed beyond recognition, as you're about to find out.
It's now the Parkway Station car park. And of course, as you remember from our previous discussions, there were some little cottages, stroke bungalows that were in this little vicinity here. And they're not there now.
Indeed, on the picture you just saw, you can see the gates to it. This is a picture taken from an aeroplane. It used to be called Britain from Above. This was taken in 1923. And we are standing roughly around here. Now, this bridge is still here, which runs under the Midland Main Line. This is called Vauxhall Road. This is the old Vauxhall Bridge. Again, what was the original Great Northern Line. You can see the Great Northern Line running along here. And you see this is the lower Harpenden Road, just about to come onto Park Corner. As I say, we are standing just about here.
So let's go. Come with us on our journey.
This picture was taken from Craven's Class 105 DMU in the early 1960s. As you can see, even then it was quite overgrown, a lot of foliage and what have you. This is the same spot today. We are now on part of what was known as the National Cycle Network, but as you can see by the undulation of the ground, it has all been built on, and to actually stand on the track bed itself is now nigh impossible. In the early 80s, they built the Airport Link Road from the M1 down to the airport, and all this is back soil which they just filled in the embankments and railway cuttings. So it's very difficult to stand and appreciate what it used to be here.
So effectively, Andy, what you're saying is that we're not actually on the track bed, but we're above it.
We're above it, yeah, a good 10 feet above it.
So although from this point forward is the track bed path, we are about 10 feet above where the track would have been.
You can actually see the way that the path meanders and dips down. Right in the distance there is the track bed itself. There is one thing we've come across. This here is a stay. This was put in to help keep up the telegraph poles, and we just found the base of it just down there. You can see here there's quite a substantial wall. This wall carried all the way along for at least a quarter of a mile. This was actually built over bridge number 22, which is actually called Summer's Arches. As we get no closer to the Lower Luton Road, Lower Harpenden Road, you'll see that we actually on embankment right up against the Lower Luton Road. This wall is quite high, and in fact was even higher than it is now, because when the landowners of Luton Hoo gave permission to build a railway line through their land, they didn't want to see the trains. So as it was getting quite close to Luton Hoo and quite close to the Lower Harpenden Road, the people who built the line, which was the Luton, Dunstable, Welling Junction Railway, not the Great Northern as it was a year later, had to build a substantial wall. This would have been quite an expensive undertaking. In 1964, Railtrack, or British Rail as it was then, decided to completely renew all the fencing along the whole of the branch line. What they did, they put in concrete fence posts and used wire between the concrete posts, but this is actually called a ratchet. What they could do, they could wrap the wire around, ratchet and tension the wires. So every 300 or 400 yards there'd be one of these where they would tension the cable between the concrete fence posts. So this really is the boundary between what was the railway land and private land behind it.
And what was in the private land?
Behind here were allotments.
Okay.
There were many allotments. I remember the three sisters who used to live opposite my mum and dad in Keaton Road. I think they've all sadly passed away now. They were using this allotment right up until the late 1990s. This is a fabulous picture. We are standing roughly on the same spot that this picture was taken, between the railway land and the allotments, as I just said, that we're now against. The Cravens 105 DMU is heading towards Luton. You can see quite clear in the background on this picture the wall, which was substantial. It must have been around 10 feet high. Again, as I said, this had to be built. Just to my left here, you probably can't quite make out, is the embankment for the Midland Main Line. As you can see, the fence ran right close up to the Lower Harpenden Road, and then the Midland, bit later on, built their railway line right against the Great Northern Line.
Now we can't see that because, well, we've come in the summer, so we're standing in the middle of brambles, literally. If we'd come in March when we planned to do it, you'd be able to see it. But, you know, hey, time and unforeseen occurrences.
We are now standing on top of bridge number 22, which was Summer's track. There was a little farm track that went underneath here, and of course now also underneath the Midland Main Line. There is a house just the other side of it. We are going to try and take some pictures of this later on. There is no path down to the road, so we'll do it later.
Okay, excellent. And the Midland Line is literally there. You can just see some of the installation just through. In fact, there's a train going past now. Can't see it, but you can hear it. All right, we'll carry on our walk.
Now this isn't actually part of our railway story. This is the other side of the tunnel, what we called bridge number 22. It is now officially called bridge 130. It says 130 SPC1. SPC means St Pancras. Every bridge tunnel that comes from St Pancras up to Sheffield and further would have a number, and this is 130. But on the other side it will be Bridge 22 Summaries.
It's quite a big tunnel actually. We walked through it.
Well, as I say, when this, I mean, you'll probably be able to see probably the original. You see, when they first built this,
Let me just try and lighten this up. Hang on.
it was a
There we
Great Northern Bridge.
Yes.
It's only because the Midland later on, and then later on again extended it, they made this tunnel so long. But they've kept in with exactly the same infrastructure, exactly the same style of brickwork, the same height, the same style, everything.
How many years old are we talking, Andy?
This would have been built in this section we're in now in 1865, 66.
Wow.
Where the original bridge that we walked on would have been 1858, some 8-9 years earlier. As I said before, the Great Northern, or the Luton, Dunstable, Welling Junction Railway, was the first to actually build a line into Luton.
Not the safest road to walk out on.
No,
But
don't know if you can get a picture of that. You can see the wall going along there. You can see now the brick abutment goes all the way along for several yards in either direction, and this would have been the original bridge that was built by the Luton, Dunstable, Welling Junction Railway before it became Great Northern. It would have been a much shorter bridge than it is now, and as I've already said, this is bridge number 22 from Welling.
from Welling.
So we will have to go back a little bit, mate. Now back on the track bed, standing in roughly the same position this photograph was taken. It's taken from a passenger train. The train itself would probably have been an N7 steam loco, going up to Harpenden and Welling Garden City. Just in the background here, you can see quite clearly the arches of the Midland main line that got it very, very close to the Great Northern branch line, and you can see the fence here. Although it doesn't look substantial, it was. Now the reason why the fence isn't here anymore, or isn't so high, is purely safety reasons. Once the line was lifted in 1965, the wall wasn't needed anymore, and of course it could have become a bit of a safety hazard, so they took most of it down. There are a little bit, it's about 3 or 4 feet high now, but that's it. It's just done for safety. You can see the embankment now, and the metal girders of the overhead catenary, which is now the Midland Main Line, of course. But this picture, taken by Geoff, probably in the very late 60s, early 70s, shows the distant signal heading towards Luton Hoo Station. You can see quite clearly in the picture, there's a big plate there. That was known as a sighting plate. Several places in Britain where the sun was quite low, drivers couldn't see the signal properly. So they used to put a plate there, and the signal would have been in front of the plate to give the driver an easier indication of what the signal was doing.
And we think it's about here.
Yeah, roughly here.
Roughly here. Now when I first walked along here with Callum, there was a white substation. It ain't there now, it is gone. So we suspect that it's overlived its life. But through here would have been the track.
Yes, this is the original track bed, which British Rail built on. When the line was first electrified in about 1980, there was an electrical substation here. 40 plus years later, I suppose it's outlived its useful life and has been removed, and obviously a newer one, probably more user friendly, more environmental friendly, whatever, is built somewhere else.
but not too friendly for the one that was here.
But yes. But this
Anyway,
was
that's the track bit there.
the track bed.
Well, we're deviating off it slightly
Ever
here
so slightly.
as we come onto the footpath.
That is the fence now of the other end of the substation. So we are now back on the original track bed, which, as Gavin pans round, you're able to see goes up there on an embankment and over an occupation bridge number 21. Occupation bridges were basically farm track bridges. They were built to the same standard, a brick arch, but unfortunately I do not have any pictures of it. Gavin's pointing out there, this is the National Cycle Route number 6. We've just come off the track bed itself. On the left hand side you can see the embankment, and as Gavin pans round you can see this is where bridge number 21 was. Unfortunately there's nothing left of it, and as I said, I've got no pictures of it, I'm afraid. Yeah, hair's good.
Hair's good, hair's good. Right, I've still got my spot on my head. Welcome back to the channel. We hope you're safe and well. After some period of time, because the weather's never been on our side, we've managed to get to where we left our last video to start the next section. And of course we're going to go from Luton to Harpenden. So we hope you enjoyed the video, and as usual, that was a business jet.
Welcome to Luton.
And I'll pause that.
This picture would have been taken possibly in the early 1960s. It's from the cab of a DMU, a Craven's 105, and you can see quite clearly it was overgrown even then. The track bed, as you see, goes straight. Bloopers!
Yeah, that's on the blooper.
Right.
Right, let's get it. Here we go. Right, just resetting. We got 2 minutes between the next plane.
Okay. This is a fabulous picture because someone must have taken this in the middle of the countryside, right on the boundary between the railway line and the private land, which, as we said, were allotments. This is a Craven's Class 105 DMU heading towards Luton. As you can see...
It's okay. We can't hear them on the mic
All right.
because it's
Okay.
so go for it again.
Do you want to start again?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Class N7 pulling passenger up towards Harpenden and Luton. No.
We're trying to film, and this is above us. Helpful. I think that's the. I don't know. No, that's the police one. I think.
As Gavin shows you, this is now the cycle route number 6 that has just come off the track bed down to the side. Just to the left was the embankment, and as Gavin spans round.
Spans round.
That's not right.
Should we try that again?
Pans round.
Pans round.
Okay, so stop. Right.